everyone, and hi, Adam. It is so wonderful to be here with you today and have this conversation. We have thrilled that the World Bladder Cancer Patient Coalition, that BEAT Bladder Cancer Australia has joined us very recently as a member organization. And we look forward to learning more about the wonderful work that you are doing in Australia. And for those who are joining us and watching this online, Adam Lynch is president and founder of BEAT Bladder Cancer Australia, bladder cancer patient organization based out of Sydney, but working nationally. So Adam, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And to get us started, I thought, why don't you tell us a bit more about BEAT, how it started, its structure, and briefly how you work in general.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So thanks for having me, everybody. So BEAT Bladder Cancer Australia was formed in early 2018, and the inspiration was very simple. My wife, Anna, passed away from bladder cancer in late 2017. She had a 14-month journey with her illness, and at the time we had two young children aged 12 and 10 when she passed away. Now, during that time, Anna used to say, she said, when I get better, I want to give something back to patients so we don't have to go through the experience that we've been through. But she was unable to do that, and so in her memory, we founded BEAT as the patient advocacy organisation that it is now. The way that BEAT is structured, we're 100% volunteer based. We have a small management team who run the day-to-day operations and strategy for the organisation, and we have a very increasing size and active health advisory team. Now, these are medical professionals from different professions, whether it be urologists or oncologists or nutritionists or GPs. They all help provide and validate from a medical perspective, the content that we produce. And then also we have a growing patient advisory team who, again, from a patient perspective, provide a lot of the input, what patient needs are, and help us with a lot of our website content.
Thank you, Adam. And you are so close to bladder cancer patients every day. What are some of the main challenges that people affected by bladder cancer face in Australia?
I thought I might firstly just give you some of the key statistics on bladder cancer in Australia. So in Australia, it's the 11th most common cancer. There are over 3,000 people diagnosed every year with bladder cancer, and over 1,000 people die from bladder cancer every year. There's a ratio of probably 3 to 1, between 3 and 4 to 1, male to female, in terms of getting bladder cancer, and it's older men. So men over 65 are the most likely to be diagnosed with bladder cancer. And unfortunately, the survival rates have actually decreased over time. So it's one of the very, very few cancers that survival rates have worsened over the years. So the main challenges that patients affected by bladder cancer in Australia are, firstly, awareness and then access to patient-friendly, trusted, relevant information and support services. So it's being aware that those exist, and then where to go to for that information and for that support. That's the first thing that I want to highlight. The second one is Australia is an enormous country. It's geographically, it's a very large country, and so we have patients and carers who live in rural and remote areas where the access to hospitals, to doctors, just is very challenging. They have to travel enormous distances to get access to care, and this is a big focus nationally around equitable service for all cancer sufferers. And then the third one that I want to highlight really is affordable treatments. So getting subsidized treatments onto the health system so that they are affordable and accessible for all Australians is an ongoing challenge, particularly as we see the big shift in immunotherapy treatments now, and more of those going through clinical trials and becoming available over time. So it's access to some of those new treatments.
And so could you tell us how does BEAT work to address some of these challenges and support needs for people affected by bladder cancer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do four main things. So the first thing that we do is create awareness amongst the community. So it will be a wonderful scenario if nobody in Australia got advanced stage bladder cancer because they were aware of what their symptoms were. They were aware what to do if they were exhibiting symptoms, and that they would act and go and see the doctor. So awareness is a big one for us. We have a simple tagline which we use, which is called "Blood in your pee, see your GP." And we have poster campaigns, digital poster campaigns in toilets, digital screens in shopping centres. We do a lot of social media because of the reach that we can get. So the objective there is really to create awareness that bladder cancer exists, what to do, what its symptoms are, and what to do if you're showing those symptoms. That's the first thing that we do. The second one is realizing that, of course, people will get bladder cancer. Unfortunately, people will get bladder cancer. And so what they need is information and support for both patients and carers. So primarily that's through our website, which is the real go-to place for the information that we offer. But we also have brochures which we send out to communities, to hospitals, to clinics, to highlight the information that we have available. And then we have a support group which provides vital support to many Australians. That's the second thing, information and support. The third thing is an interesting one. It's one that we started relatively recently, and it's really raising our profile into the nursing community, into the medical professional community, the urologists, oncologists, etc., and into GPs, because it's really, really important for them to know that we exist. Because if a nurse tells a patient, hey, you should go and look at BEAT Bladder Cancer Australia's website, it's got some great information there, and it will support you on your journey. Then as a patient, you're much more likely to do that because it's a trusted referral pathway from your medical team. So we do a lot of focus on raising our profile and making that the nurses and doctors aware that BEAT exists and what we do and what we offer. And then the fourth area is influencing treatment options. So in that space, what we do is we work with the pharmaceutical companies, quite early on in terms of the engagement with them, really to ensure that there's a patient lens right through the development cycle, so that the products as they bring them to market really has the patient sort of front of mind of what they're doing. And then we also provide consumer submissions into the approval for those treatments to be subsidized, because it's always important to provide a patient advocacy to say, hey, this is going to be really beneficial to the patient community.
That's really wonderful, Adam, and there is such a big range of activities. So you cover the whole of Australia. These services are available to everyone across the country?
Yes, all across Australia, and that brings its own challenges. As I said, it's a very large country. We have people. There's a large percentage of the population are in the major cities, but there are also significant people who live in regional and rural areas. And that's really why we sort of need to focus our services and information and support digitally. So probably the major activities and resources that are used from what I've just outlined previously are the websites. The website is our number one. So, and of course that's going to be accessible to all, almost all Australians who have internet access. And the website, as we've built it, is very much around the patient journey, because we started looking at, how, when we designed this, how do we design a website? And we thought, well, patients come to a website because they're in need. They're in critical need. They're emotional, they're confused, and they need help. So it's got to be something that is very easy for them to access. So our website is very much based around the patient journey, running from symptoms to diagnosis to treatment to support to living with bladder cancer. And we have a lot of videos, both from the medical professionals, little bite-sized videos from patient experiences. And then we have information sheets, so downloadable information sheets. And also, really importantly, what we found very valuable for patients is question lists. So when you're going to see your GP, when you're exhibiting symptoms, or when you're going to your urologist when you've just got your results back to say that you've been diagnosed with bladder cancer, or when you're going to see your urologist, your surgeon, when you're going to be discussing treatment options, then what are the questions that you want to take so you've got on your lap next to you so that you're informed, because you're emotional, you're confused, it's a language you don't understand. So it's to help you along the way so that you're informed in the discussions that you have with your doctor. So that's all on our website. And we get about 100 visitors a day to our website and primarily to look at all of that video and information content. And then the second thing that we offer, which is very well used, is the support group. So the support group is via Zoom. It's an online support group. It's open to all Australians, which is perfect, because again, in a large country, you cannot get people face to face in terms of the numbers that you need. And so we have people from every state and territory in Australia, different stages of their bladder cancer. We get patients, we get carers, we get male, we get female, and so it's a family. Those support groups, really become a really close knit family. And the way we do it is we have a guest speaker each for half the session. It's monthly, and that can range from an oncologist or a nurse or a physiotherapist or a urologist, whatever it might be. So that really informs the support group, the patient community, because they're getting access to these amazing, highly regarded professionals in an environment where they can ask questions, and they become really, really informed and knowledgeable about the disease that they have. And then we have a group discussion. Is the second half of the support group. So that support group keeps building and building as word gets out and recommendations get out, and we're really proud of what we're doing there with the support group and the help that it provides.
And any positive success stories come out of that you could share with us from your support work or advocacy or any other activities?
I think it's the day-to-day feedback, to be honest. It doesn't need to be anything special and huge, but what it is the social media comments or the emails or the phone calls, which sort of say to us, you made me aware of what bladder cancer symptoms were, and so I acted quickly, and therefore it was caught early. Or it might be, you've been such a support through the journey in terms of the information that you provided and and the peer support that we get from all the other patients sharing their lived experiences. Or it could be, I mean, we've had patients saying, you know, it was so nice being in front of my doctor and actually knowing what I was talking about, you know, having the questions, feeling confident that I could have an equal discussion with the doctor, as opposed to sitting there like a sort of rabbit in headlights, not knowing what to say and being really confused. So I think it's those little things, Alex, that we get sort of, you know, most days, which really sort of says, you know, we're making a difference, and it really sort of energizes you when you get that type of feedback.
So it's little success stories every day. That's a very rewarding experience. And so one thing, you know, you've mentioned supporting each other, supporting patients, and our community in the World Bladder Cancer Patient Coalition is also very much about support. And so what we want to bring to these discussions in closing, what is one tip you would give someone just starting out a bladder cancer patient group in their community, whether it be, you know, locally or nationally? You've been, as a founder of BEAT Bladder Cancer, at the very center of it. So do you have one piece of advice to share with others?
Can I give you two sort of half bits? Does that count? Is that?
That's absolutely fine, even better.
I think the first thing is keep it simple. Pick one or two things that you want to do, and do them really well. Don't try and do too much and have a sort of an average output, because patients won't see the value in it. So start simple, pick one or two things, and just make them a real success. And from that, things will grow. And probably the second bit, which kind of links in with the first one, is do something that patients really need. You know, there's lots of things that you can start out and do, but actually take a step back and get patient feedback and community feedback on what are the real needs in the communities within your particular country. And if you start with a real need and you do it well, then it's very likely to be a good success from which you can then gain credibility and then build on.
That's great. And I would say that's not two half tips. I think it's two great pieces of advice. So Adam, if there are patients or carers who would like to reach out to BEAT Bladder Cancer Australia, how can they do that?
Probably the best thing is to visit our website. So our website is www.BEAT Bladder Cancer Australia. So all lowercase, all one word, beatbladdercanceraustralia.org.au. And there you will find obviously all the information, but you'll also find contact details if you want to email us with any questions or just wishing to make contact. So most definitely the website. We're also on Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook as well.
So thank you so much, Adam, for joining me for this conversation today. And I would also like to thank you for sharing your story and sharing more about your work, because it's not only informative for patients and carers and people affected by bladder cancer in Australia, but it serves as inspiration and builds a sense of community for all patient advocates and people affected by bladder cancer all around the world. So really thank you, Adam, for joining me today.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for having me.